What up, what up, what up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of Sip the Tatted Films, and we're going to do this as our episode of Ravens Daily. Malik, let me get a thumbs up if you guys can hear me to make sure my volume is good before I get started. Don't want to keep talking and you can't hear me. Agnes, Malik, okay, appreciate it. T.O. So what we're going to do is, again, appreciate you guys for joining me on this. And obviously, if most of you don't know, Quincy Carrier is a Browns YouTuber, and he put something out this similar like this about the Browns this morning. I saw it. I thought it was a great idea. I DM'd him, told him that that I would be doing it, so I didn't want to be like I was stealing his idea, even though technically I am, but I didn't want to be like I was doing it behind his back. So I let him know, hey, I like that idea. I'm gonna do it on our channel, and I ain't want you to think that I'm carjacking you for your idea, but technically I am. But I let him know that I was doing it. It wasn't like no behind the back type stuff. And Quincy's a good dude. We talk about different things, and I throw ideas, and he's done some things that I have kind of used on my channel, and they've worked. So he's always been good to me as far as throwing different ideas and what I should do and whatnot. He's been a great resource to help me trying to grow this channel too. So I always, anytime I get a chance to shout out Q, I do it, because even though we have different opinions about different things and we root for different teams, he supports me, I support him, and it's all love, in that way. So let's get to it, man. So what we got 5 levels. I'm gonna bring them up. Oh, before we get into it, I had duty today on at my lunch, and just know I was reading comments upon the different videos. It's kind of spicy. So just know, I wish it would. It's open to interpretation. Let's get into what we're here for, though. The tier maker. So what we're gonna do is we got 5 tiers, and the tiers are all pro level, Pro Bowl level, exceeded expectations, met expectations, and fell short of expectations. And so I pretty much put everybody here that played a significant role, and we're gonna put them on one of these 5 levels and go from there. And if you're here live, you can kind of put them in the chat box, when I throw them up there. And if you watch it later, the ones you don't agree with, drop it in the comment section. The ones you do agree with, make your comments or whatever. And if I'm completely off, say that too. There's no discourse if you think I'm wrong, because it's all opinions around here, and everybody has an opinion. I have one just like you have one. And an old coach told me a long time ago, everybody has an opinion. They like buttholes. They all stink. So it is what it is. Let's get this pulled up, and then we can get started. All right, so this is the list. First up, I think this is Broderick Washington. So as far as Broderick Washington, he signed a contract. When he signed that contract, I thought he was going to be a better player than he was. I don't need to be up in here for this. Let's make this whole screen. I thought he was going to be a better player than he was. He ended up not being that. He was a situational player. I kind of thought Brent Urban played better than Washington. So in my eyes, I got him fell short of expectations. Appreciate you, Chad. For Broderick, fell short of expectations. I don't know how you feel about Broderick. He signed that extension, so he's here for the immediate time. It is what it is. Next up, my dog right here, Ben Cleveland. Now, Ben didn't get to play a lot, so his body of work is minimal, but I think he met the expectations. I don't think he had a fair chance to play this year. I think he should have gotten a chance to fight for that left guard spot, but I don't want to revisit that whole thing again. So the little bit he had a chance to play, I think he did good. And so I think I put him in met expectations, the spotlight. Next up is Jadeveon Clowney. I think he exceeded expectations. Clowney came in with his most, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, and people watching later. This is the most sacks Clowney's had in his career. He ended up getting his bonus right there toward the end of the year. So for me, Clowney exceeded the expectations. Had a great year, and I think he's in line for a nice little payday, whether it be from us or another team. But I think Clowney's in line for a nice little payday, and I think he exceeded the expectations from my point of view. From my point of view. Next guy up on this list is Ronald Darby, another guy that I really didn't know much about. I think he exceeded expectations because I didn't expect much of anything from him. He ended up being a pretty sure tackler, contributed a lot more than I expected. Outplayed a guy that we're going to talk about later that I expected more out of. So I'm kind of giving away that pick when I get to it later on. I was pleasantly surprised with the play of Ronald Darby. And was he perfect? By no means. But he exceeded my expectations. He definitely did. Next up, this is who is this? This dude, I think. Let me make sure. I want to call anybody wrong. I think this dude. Yeah, this dude. Devin Duvernay. To me, Duvernay fell short of expectations. And I'll even say it just as a punt returner. As a punt returner, he was, I don't know if it was last year or year before, he was an all-pro specialist. And I just felt like he didn't give us much as far as the return game. I didn't feel like he had any shakes. I felt like if it was blocked perfectly, he could run, he could be a track runner and run a straight line. But if it wasn't blocked perfectly, he wasn't going to give you much. And then it didn't help the fact that once he was hurt for whatever reason, Tylan Wallace came out there and did what he did and won a game for us. And not only did he win a game for us, he was able to get yards for us in certain situations in other games where the stuff wasn't blocked up perfectly to help us have better field position. So to me, dude fell short of expectations. And I'm just speaking from a returner point of view, not even receiver. Just as a returner, I think Devin Duvernay fell short of expectations in my eyes. All right, next dude, Falele. Fell short of expectations for me, and I gotta temper why I say that, because I know he's a project, and I know he's a huge, massive body, but I say fell short of expectations because I don't think he's gotten any better at right tackle. I think I ain't gonna say he's the same player. I haven't seen the progress that I feel like I need to see from him as a right tackle. Do I expect him to be the starter by no means? By no means. But I did expect him to make some sort of jump and show more because he had the opportunity to play a lot more than I expected with them rotating Moses in when I think it was his pectoral muscle or whatever that was got hurt. When they was doing the tackle rotation, he had an opportunity to show, and he didn't show me very much. Like there were times when the ball was snapped and Lamar or Huntley, whoever was in, had to during that immediately take off. Now in the run game, he could just lean on people. But when you're 6'7", a gazillion pounds, that's easy. But the NFL's for the most part a passing league. Now you got to be able to pass block. And to me, he hasn't grown in that area. So that's why I got fell short of expectations. Next up, Geno Stone. I teetered with Pro Bowl level for Geno Stone, and if the season was 10 games, he'd be Pro Bowl level. But I put him right. I'm just gonna put him right here with exceeded expectations. Exceeded expectations. I think he was second in the league in NFLs. I mean, not NFLs, in interceptions behind Deron Bland. But when Marcus came back with his issue and they kind of moved him directly out of the middle of the field, his lack of tackling kind of showed up. He almost disappeared, so to speak. And like when people were upset when Geno didn't make the Pro Bowl, I wasn't. Because I still, in my mind, Geno, even though he made the most out of his opportunities, he really did, he still was Marcus's backup. And Marcus is obviously better than him. Would Marcus have got those picks Geno made? Who's to say? We don't know. But Geno did exceed expectations. But was he a Pro Bowler? I don't know. And stats, in some cases, can be misleading. But I could see where people would argue for him being a Pro Bowl level player. So in Geno's case, I could see where some people could go Pro Bowl level, some people, and me personally going exceed the expectation. I could see the argument for Pro Bowl level though. All right, next, Justice Hill. To me, met expectations. He was what I thought he could be. That's, he didn't fall short. He didn't exceed it. Justice Hill kind of was what I thought he would be. He ran hard. He had a little burst about him. He was what I thought he could be. I mean, I don't really know what more to put on Justice's plate. Started off as a special teamer. Guys went down. He was able to get some carries, made the most out of his carries. His pass pro in the playoffs was horrible, but he's a number 3 slash he's a special teamer slash number 3 running back slash what's the word I'm looking for? Practice squad running back. And he had to be a starter. He ended up being our number 1 slash number 2 running back. So to me, he met expectations. Next up, Kyle Hamilton. Do I even need to explain or go into detail what this dude did in his second year? We can kind of write this off as a yeah. Team toxic in the building, baby. Hey, man, you crazy. What's up, Jose? But again, Kyle is, like Agnes said, Kyle is him. Right? Exactly. So again, we don't need to go in the detail on that. I think this next one is. Let me see who this is. I got to make sure. Okay, that's who I thought it was. Charlie Kolar. I'm not going to put Charlie in fell short of expectations because he really technically was the 4th tight end. And when he got in to play, he played okay. He had some boo-boos, but he had some good plays too. So he had some positive and some negative. And to me, he met the expectations. He was the 4th tight end. Because Ricard, you got to count Ricard as a tight end also. And a fullback. So to me, Charlie Kolar met expectations. He played terrible. He ain't played great. To me, he did what he needed to do. All right. Next up, Kyle Van Noy. Exceeded expectations. Another guy, and these are his words, from Off the Couch University, came in and had a great season for us. A great season for us. He got a little back and forth going with the Vault people with some contract stuff. I don't really know like the gist of it. I just know his name was mentioned with something that was said and whatnot. I really don't care. It's not my business. But as far as him, he's gonna get some money from somewhere, whether it be from the Ravens or somebody else, because he had a really, 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 really good year. Really good year. And I would almost want to put him and Clowney in Pro Bowl level, almost. Like you can argue Pro Bowl level for him and Clowney. Really, really could. All right, next up, the soon-to-be $20 million man, Madubuike. 13 sacks from an interior D lineman is absolutely nuts. If you're a stats person, he had the best stats of any interior defensive lineman. But even though he did that, he didn't get the double teams and triple teams as much as Chris Jones and Aaron Donald did. So that's kind of why they still got like some of the postseason awards and stuff like that. But as far as just straight up numbers, he had better numbers than all those guys. So to me, Madubuike is all pro level right there. Linderbaum. To me, Linderbaum's all pro level. Well, no. Because let's see. Let's all pro level, meaning you're at the top of your game in your position. That's what all pro level means. You're at the top of your game and all at your position. You're in the top 4 to 5% of the game at your level. Linderbaum is close to that. Let me think for a minute. How many centers are better than Linderbaum? Kelsey, maybe Humphreys. I'm putting Linderbaum there. Linderbaum's all pro center in my eyes. Linderbaum played at all pro level. Let's pick this thing up. I got to pick up the pace. I can't talk as much before my time run out. Likely. Had Likely been in the mix the entire year, he probably wouldn't have been at Pro Bowl level. Had Likely got the snaps, and I'm probably gonna say the same thing just in a different way. The snaps that he should have gotten, he definitely would have been at exceeded expectations. But because he played so little up until Mark got hurt, I just got to have him at mid expectations because he didn't have that many snaps. And then early in the year when he dropped that ball versus the Colts, he basically disappeared. Let's see what's this next face I got up here. I think this is what it is. All right, this is Malik Harrison. I got Malik Harrison met expectations. And the reason why I got Malik, if Malik would have just stayed at interior, like off-ball linebacker, I would have had him fail short of expectations. But Malik morphed into a first down edge guy and was great at stopping the run and setting the edge. So that's why I put him at met expectations. That's why I got him there. And so I was cool with Malik changing kind of what he was and what he do, and I got him at mid expectation. Malik will be your first and second down guy, then he come off the field and let them pass rushers do their thing. So if he can develop some pass rush stuff this offseason, Malik may be okay. And I think Malik may be done. Malik contract may be up too. Chat box, help me out with that one. Next up, Marcus Williams. Met expectations. You know, Marcus is a good player. He didn't do nothing spectacular. Was kind of hurt, fought through pain to play. Did what he needed to do. He met expectations. He didn't go above and beyond nothing to me. He met expectations. Next up, this guy to me exceeded expectations. That's Arthur Marlette. If you had asked me August who Arthur Marlette was, I'd be like, who? And the fact that I know his name and the way he contributed to the team at a high level and got some timely sacks, some timely QB pressures, some timely pass breakups from a guy that I was like, who? He exceeded my expectations. Now, exceeded expectations don't necessarily mean they got a bunch of stats, meaning you probably didn't expect to get anything out of them and you got some quality contributions from them. So keep in mind that exceeded expectations is there's no baseline for it. All right. Next up, Mark. To me, Mark met expectations. Mark is what he is. Almost to the point where I could almost say he fell short of expectations. Almost. You could almost say that. But I'm gonna put mid expectations because Mark's kind of like a steady rock. None spectacular. It's nothing like the year he had 2 years ago when he had 100+ catches or whatever. But Mark's just a steady rock. But you could borderline say fell short of expectations. Marlon Humphreys, to me, fell short of expectations. Marlon has a $100 million contract, and he was not even the best cornerback on our team. So that, to me, when you make that much money, your expectations are high, and I think he fell short. All right, next up, Morgan Moses. Moses was solid. Met expectations. He was solid. Had good games. Had bad snaps. Solid. Who is this? This is Macari, I think. Just to make sure. I'll make sure this is Macari. This is Macari. Macari met expectations. Macari is a backup. He's a backup offensive lineman. So when he get in and have to play starting minutes, he's going to have bust. He is. So for people to get, when Macari goes in, for people to think he is a starter, he's not. And so there are going to be issues when he has to play. And so you just have to temper your expectations. And so that's why he's where he's at. This is going to pain me to put this name right here, but I have to do it to be fair. It pains me to put him there, but I have to do it to be fair. And that's Odell Beckham. As much. Oh, 1 second. Mute my mic. All right, I'm back. Appreciate y'all with the little pause. Had to take care of the kiddos. Had to handle that. But it pains me to put Odell here. As huge of a fan as I am of Odell, when we first signed him, I was, yes, rah, happy. That's my dude. He's going to. And then throughout the season, I'm like, I felt like he wasn't healthy. I felt like in that stretch run, he was going to show up and be the guy we need. And it just never really came. And so, hindsight, looking at it, that was too much money. And I've never said that all season. This is the first time I'm saying it here. That was too much money. I understand why we did it, because signing him helped us secure Lamar, but he fell short of expectations. All right, next, I think this is Nelson Aguilar. Yeah, this is Nelson Aguilar. He exceeded expectations to me. I didn't expect nothing out of Nelson. I didn't expect not nothing. Maybe about 15, 20 catches and a touchdown. That's all I expect out of him. To me, he exceeded his expectations because I had next to none. I had next to none for Nelson Aguilar. Odafe Oweh. The thing for Oweh is my thought for Oweh was so low because of what he's done in the past. And for him to come out and just look like an entirely different player, I was happy with that. I was happy with what, again, he didn't have a lot of sacks. I think he only had 5, but he just looked like an entirely different player. He had pressures, he had hurries, had some good run defending plays, set the edge. Like I said, didn't have a lot of numbers that'll jump out at you stat-wise, but when you look at him on the field, he looked like an entirely different player. He didn't look like that stiff robot from a year or two ago. He looked like he had some flexibility about him, looked like he had some bend about him, looked like he may have gotten some speed back, looked like he was healthy again. So that's why I got him in an exceeded expectations. Now that may not be a popular pick for Oweh, but for me, that's where it is. Michael Pierce met expectations. Clog up the middle, occupy blockers, let your linebackers run free. That's what Pierce gave us. We got it. Rashad Bateman fell short of expectations. Now, I want to explain this a little bit because him falling short of expectations, partly I think it's partly his fault. I think it's partly Lamar's fault. I think it's partly coaching's fault. I just think since he's a receiver, it has to be clearly obvious that, hey, I'm whooping these dudes on tape. And at the second half of the season, that was obvious. So when he gets his opportunities, hey, you got to catch the ball. You got to make your presence known. And then once that's done, then the coaching got to draw up stuff where he's the number one target. So like him falling short of expectations, I think is a threefold responsibility on him. Next up, Ricard. This is going to shock some people. I think I put Ricard at Pro Bowl level. I was mad with how Giro used Ricard. I was like, less Ricard, more Prochet. Y'all remember that video? But the way Monken used Ricard this year, I loved it. I loved it. He used him less, but he used him as a legit fullback / tight end. And I think Ricard flourished in that role. I really think he flourished in that role. So I was really, really happy with Ricard's play this year. Like blocking the few passes he got in the flats and did stuff with. his not minimal, his diminished role was a better role for him this year, and I loved it. PQ, All Pro. Y'all know how I feel about PQ. And I call it like I see it. And he played amazing this year. Rowe played amazing this year. This guy right here exceeded expectations. That's Tavares Robinson, the defensive end. I expected nothing. He came in, played some quality snaps for us. Got a sack, got some TFLs. Like I said, I didn't expect this kid to make the roster. But darn Dr. Rush, man. Dr. Rush. This is, let me see who this is. Make sure. Oh, I figured this was. All right. Mr. Simpson. Mr. Simpson. I got him in fell short of expectations. But you know what? That's not fair to him. That's not fair to him. I'm gonna put him at met expectations. Because when you're given a job and you don't have to compete for it, what'd you expect? What'd you expect? When you're given a job and don't have to compete for it, because he competed versus Salah, but man, come on, bro. They had. I hate to keep going back to this argument. I'm not going back to this argument. I'm sorry. John Simpson made expectations. I ain't going back to this argument. Brandon Stevens, to me, played at a Pro Bowl level. To me, he was the best corner on the team this year, in my opinion. Pro Bowl level Brandon Stevens. Jordan Stout met expectations. Had some booming punts. Had a few. One game where he kind of cost us with two bad punts. It was the Houston game. Damn, that cost us a Houston game. Yeah, the playoff game. But for the most part, met expectations. Ronnie, I'm gonna say Ronnie fell short of expectations. And the reason I got him there is I didn't know Ronnie was still as hurt as he was. I didn't realize Ronnie was still hurting until like the middle of the season when they started the tackle rotation. That's when I realized that okay, Ronnie ain't 100%. So that's why I got him at where he is. This is I know who this is. Let me just make sure. Yeah. Rocky Sin. I'm gonna quote one of the YouTube comedians that I really like right now. Trash. Bubba Dub. That man was horrible. Horribly. Gus exceeded expectations, 13 touchdowns. I do have a knack about Gus though. No, I got Gus met expectations. Because you expect Gus to get the tough yards. My knock on Gus is at this stage in his career, the stuff has to be blocked up right. Gus has to have a good O-line in front of him to get back to be Gus. Gus has to have a good O-line in front of him to do what he needs to do. That's my only knock on Gus. He still runs hard. He still falls forward once he gets started, but it got to be blocked right for Gus to be productive. Some other guys can make people miss in the backfield and whatnot. Gus need a man to get downhill to be the bus. I mean, his nickname properly, the bus. Rock wasn't getting roasted. You crazy. I wonder what game you was watching, Jeremiah. Rock was getting roasted. The game where he had to play, he got toasted. This is Travis Jones, if I'm not mistaken, this next guy. Let me make sure. Travis, where are you? I think this is Travis Jones. I just hate calling people by the wrong name. So I'm looking at my file that I got him listed as. Yeah, that's Travis. Okay. Travis Jones exceeded expectations for me. When they signed Pierce, and then they had already signed Broderick Washington, and I knew what Matter BK was, I expected Travis Jones to be like behind Brent Urban and not play very much. but he obviously moved up the depth chart and played a key role in it, in the rotation, and played solid. Played solid. Extremely solid. The trash tier. We probably should have had a trash tier, T.O. You're right. This next one, this is Urban. To me, Urban met expectations. I didn't expect much out of Urban. I expect him to be a situational player, and he came and played in situations and was good. The GOAT, Tuck, Pro Bowl level. Some say he fell off, but I think Tuck is still where he needs to be. Some could say all pro level, but he did miss a few kicks or whatnot, so I'm gonna leave him at Pro Bowl level, and that could be debatable whether he's all pro or not. Keith Mitchell exceeded expectations. Had he remained healthy, he could have been in this Pro Bowl level thing, because the kid was figuring it out, and the O-line was helping him out because he didn't need everything to be blocked up right. He didn't need it to be perfect. He just needed one little smidget of daylight, and he was scooting up out of there and gone. All right. Next up, Zay Flowers, Pro Bowl level, had a great rookie career, great rookie year. I'm sorry. I think he broke all Ravens rookie records. Pro Bowl level. I also exceeded the expectations, which is obvious, but Pro Bowl level for Zay. KZ, early in the season, didn't play well, but got it together. Pro Bowl level for KZ, out of me. And, some don't like KZ. I do, but I think he played Pro Bowl level. And then lastly, the MVP himself, Lamar Jackson, all pro level. So this is my tier list. You can screenshot it. You can tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. You can talk about me behind my back. I don't care. But this is my opinion, and I appreciate you guys for doing this. Being in here with me, not doing it, but being in here with me. So I'll go back through and watch this later and see what you guys were kind of saying, and everybody else that's watching the replay. Put your thoughts, comments in the chat box. If you haven't liked the video, please do that. And again, I got this idea from Quincy Carrier. Quincy did this with the Browns earlier, and so I thought it was a cool thing to do. And so I went and made my little template on TierMaker, and I mean, feel free to go do it yourself too. Make your account on TierMaker and do it yourself. You got to download all these different headshots though too, because I had to do that too. So, but this is what I got for you today. This is Ravens Daily, February 15th, 2024. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and thank you for joining me on this little lunch break visit. Peace and love, y'all. Hold on. See, I'm talking to a messed up screen. Need y'all to see me when I say that. Here we go. Now, appreciate y'all, man. Peace and love. See y'all later. Who is